Well, I'm about to piss men off with this one. Men don't stay in miserable marriages because they're loyal or selfless or committed to their family. They stay because marriage still benefits them, even when it's hostile, even when it's dead, and even when they act like they hate you. And that belief that he's sacrificing is one of the most garbage, biggest lies that keeps women stuck. I'm going to tell you why he stays even when he hates you and expose where this nonsense comes from. You're already living this. You're watching him disengage and snap and withdraw and roll his eyes and sigh like your existence is a total inconvenience and still sit comfortably in the marriage. He's not confused, he's not torn, and he's not trapped. He is staying because leaving would cost him more than staying. And I don't mean financially. You're going to reach a point where this becomes so obvious that you will not be able to unsee it. At some point, it clicks that he isn't stuck inside this. He's choosing it. Right now, you're noticing it in small ways, right? Like the way that he complains about being unhappy, but he never does anything that would actually disrupt his comfort. You are standing in the same house, paying attention to how little effort he makes to participate, how irritated he gets when you ask for basic engagement and basic human decency, how he benefits from your labor while acting like you're the problem. It is not noble. Now, I made a video called Your Husband Hates You. Here's 8 ways to tell. And too many women in the comments saw themselves in that video. It was unbelievable. You look at how this shows up in your life. You're sitting at like a school event or a family gathering or a dinner with friends. The guy barely speaks to you. He scrolls, he sighs, he looks bored. If you try to talk to him, he gives you one-word answers or he corrects you in front of other people. If you don't talk to him, you're cold, right? He's going to tell you later that you're checked out. He looks like a man that's trapped in a miserable life, but he gets to still go home to a house that runs, kids whose needs are managed, meals that appear, bathrooms that are clean, dishes that are washed, appointments that he doesn't schedule, and all the emotional labor that he doesn't even notice. He'll still expect sex after an outing like that too, right? He gets the benefits of partnership without the responsibility of being a partner. He wanted a wife, but he doesn't want to be a husband. And all of this tension that you feel in your body is you noticing the very clear imbalance. I'm Lisa Sonni. I'm a relationship coach. I specialize in abusive dynamics and toxic relationships. And I work daily with women who are still in marriages like this or just barely out of them, trying to understand why someone who seems to resent them refuses to leave. Hit subscribe because my channel exists to name what is actually happening and expose the truth without softening it and definitely without protecting the lie, his lie. Now, here's a part that gets skipped a lot. We got to talk about it. Men benefit from marriage structurally, but emotionally too, and in ways that don't really require reciprocity. That benefit doesn't just evaporate when the marriage becomes unhappy. Actually, it increases. Married men live longer, have better health outcomes, and earn more over their lifetimes than unmarried men. Married women do significantly more unpaid domestic labor than married men, even when both are working full-time. So don't give me the, yeah, but he pays the bills garbage. That's nonsense. After divorce, women experience a substantial drop in their standard of living, especially when kids are involved. Men's financial stability often stays the same or improves. Men remarry faster, men recover financially way faster. The idea that divorce ruins men is not actually supported by data. It's supported by the grievance culture of red pill mid-losers and the misogynists that prefer feelings over facts. So when my comment section of the video, Your Husband Hates You, asks, if he's so unhappy, why doesn't he just leave? That was the most common comment. Well, the answer is simple. Staying still works for him, even when he complains, even when he claims he's miserable, even when he treats you with absolute contempt, which the Gottmans have outlined as the number one killer of relationships. It is their best predictor of divorce. Listen to me. Losing daily access to your labor, your emotional regulation, your caregiving, your scheduling, your presence, your sex, your tolerance, all of this, it would require him to build a life that he's never had to build. That's the cost that he's avoiding. It's not heartbreak, loyalty. He just doesn't want to be inconvenienced. Divorce is so inconvenient. And this is important. Being unhappy doesn't make someone virtuous. It doesn't make them trapped, and it doesn't make them worthy of endless accommodation. He's unhappy and you're tiptoeing around him. No. What matters is not whether he's unhappy, but what he does with that unhappiness. But this is where the martyr narrative comes right in, because we know these men just love to play the victim, and it's toxic. It is so toxic. I stay for the kids. Oh, my wife, she's so mean. I sacrifice my happiness for my family. Oh, I put up with so much. Blech. That story only works if you ignore the benefit extraction happening literally at the same time. Real sacrifice involves loss without gain. What's happening here is benefit and resentment. He's just calling entitlement suffering, and I see through that, and I want you to see through that. This is where I name the belief system that's actually under this. So many men are taught, right, usually unconsciously, that a wife exists to absorb dissatisfaction. It's not for him to be fulfilled, not to be loved well, served maybe, but not loved. His wife should be available and tolerant and quiet, definitely quiet, not too emotional, not a nag, and definitely accommodating while he gets to feel however the hell he wants. You're supposed to give him all the sex he wants. Doesn't matter how he treats you. That's irrelevant. He treats you like a garbage dump for his moods. Whatever he doesn't want to deal with in himself gets dropped onto you. And that belief gives him permission to stay unhappy at you. Do you know what I mean? Unhappy at you. He's not walking around sad about life. He's irritated with you. He's annoyed at you. He's blaming you. If he's tense, you must have done something. If he's miserable, I bet you that circles right back to you. That's why contempt doesn't push him to change or leave. In his mind, the structure still belongs to him, regardless of how he behaves inside it. How he treats you is quite literally irrelevant. Staying while resentful makes sense to him. Watch how this plays out over time, right? He doesn't fix what he claims makes him so unhappy. He doesn't leave. He stays and withdraws. He complains like somebody trapped, but he behaves like somebody comfortable. And the unhappiness stays. It just gives him a cover to withdraw from the relationship, but he can still keep the life that serves him, right? He wants his cake and he wants to eat it too. He stays, and even worse, he punishes. He stays and withholds affection and conversation and presence. His unhappiness never leads to action because it's not urgent to him. It's inconvenient, don't get me wrong, sure, but not inconvenient enough to disrupt the whole setup that still totally works in his favor. He stays and he cheats, emotionally or physically, but the whole time he's insisting that he's the one being wronged. And I got to tell you, he believes it. He believes it. He believes that he is being wronged because his wife is supposed to give him all these things because nobody teaches these jerks what they're supposed to give in return. Reciprocity? What are you even talking about? So this is a man that will remain physically present, sure, but he's poisoning the relationship. He's poisoning the entire house. He stays and he makes the environment so tense and so bad that you shrink and manage and adapt, and you carry the burden of this man's dissatisfaction that he will do nothing about. The family absorbs it, you absorb it, your kids absorb it, and this dynamic eats the relationship alive because men externalize blame generally, right? And he really believes that it is his wife's fault that he's unhappy. He literally thinks that. And this is the part that I want women to hear so clearly. There is no version of you that fixes this. Being kinder, quieter, hotter, more understanding, less demanding, more this, less that, more patient. None of it is going to resolve his entitlement. That's the problem. His unhappiness is not responsive to your improvement. It responds to power. Now, there's another myth that just props this trash up, which is the idea that men lose everything in divorce. And I have got to address this here. Men are going to hate this section in particular, and I just invite you to just piss right off. If you don't like facts, this is not the video for you, okay? What men lose is control and convenience. For women, what we lose is stability. Women's household income drops significantly after divorce, like hello gender pay gap, because most women are working, pay attention. Men are more likely to maintain or even improve their financial situation, like I said. Child support, don't even get me started. It rarely covers the actual cost of raising children, yet it's framed as like theft. And abusive men ramble on about her getting her nails done when she works and she pays for her own nails and she pays for all the stuff that he doesn't cover for his share of the kids too. She is paying more. I feel a rant coming on, but honestly, stick with me because I'm going to circle back to the unhappiness, but this needs to be said. The entire government even knows that the money for child support is not being misused. That is why there is no department to manage how it's spent. The amount of men that are like, it should be put on a card. You know that they thought of that, right? And it was determined to be absolutely stupid and wasteful of taxpayer dollars. There are departments to hunt down the non-payers because non-payment is the proven, obvious problem. That's what is the problem. There's $1.13 billion in outstanding child support. Most men don't even lose custody of their kids. They just don't ask for it. In the US, Canada, the UK, Australia, the legal starting point is shared custody or shared parental responsibility unless there's a safety issue. And most custody arrangements are not even decided by judges anyway. They are decided by agreement outside of court on consent. Men are agreeing to not having them. And then they go, "Ooh, she took my kids." Even in states where 50-50 is not automatic, because yes, that's true, men actively pursue custody there and they're going to get it. They are so likely to get it. And I know. This is where red pill men say men shouldn't have to fight for their kids. Okay, but no parent should have to fight to keep their children safe either. And yet mothers do it every single day. And some dads. Women show up with calendars and school records and medical appointments and childcare plans and proof of day-to-day parenting because custody isn't a prize, it's work. Men say that they don't get to see their kids. They are often talking about access they didn't earn because you never took on the responsibility. That's not women taking children away. That is men opting out and then resenting the outcome. Because similar to their wives, they want access how and when they want it without doing the work. Entitlement. This is the same entitlement logic showing up at a different stage of life. Benefit without responsibility, then outrage when the structure doesn't carry it anymore. Rant over. Okay, back to the point. Now, let's talk about where the hatred actually comes from because this is the mind F that I want to expose. How can someone benefit from you and still act like they despise you? It makes no sense, right? The answer is honestly dependence mixed with entitlement. He relies on you more than he wants to admit, right? And that reliance makes him uncomfortable. So instead of facing that, he flips it into resentment. He just flips it. Your needs become nagging. And when you talk, you're annoying him. Literally, your presence becomes a problem. You know that man that's like just irritated to be around you, the contempt, the resentment. The more he depends on you, the more entitled he feels to take you for granted. And this is why contempt often increases after marriage, right? Kids, deeper commitment in general. His dependency increases. The guy has more to lose. He feels way more exposed. He feels entitled to more while giving less. So he resolves that conflict inside him by degrading you. That's how you end up with a man who stays, benefits, complains, and refuses to leave. Contempt protects him from accountability. If you're the problem, he doesn't have to change. He doesn't have to feel guilt. He doesn't have to face what he's taken. Think back to an early moment that you brushed off, like maybe the first time he joked about how annoying you were in front of other people, or the first time he said your reaction was drama. Men love to say that, right? The first time he said, "Nothing I ever do is good enough," while doing almost nothing. That same moment is just going to repeat over and over. It gets colder, sharper, meaner, sure. But the behavior doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from entitlement. And here's the boundary that matters. In healthy marriages, chronic resentment would lead to repair or separation. Fair enough. Leaving your wife because you basically hate her makes sense. Leave her. Please. Please leave her. Truly. If repair is not what you want, definitely leave. But what I'm describing here only happens in relationships where one person's dissatisfaction is more important than the other person's humanity. That is not an average problem. It's abusive. For anyone wondering why the woman in this scenario that I'm painting here doesn't leave, it's because when she tries to leave, he makes her feel guilty and demands that she stays, begs her to stay, saying that he'll change or threatening to take his own life or all the things that these guys do to keep you in the relationship. He doesn't want the relationship to end even when he hates you. Now, I want to come back to an earlier point that I feel like I didn't finish, and this is big. Men's unhappiness in these marriages, it's externalized, right? He sulks and withdraws, he punishes you, maybe he cheats. He makes the entire house hostile. Women's unhappiness is interestingly internalized. You try harder, you self-correct, you shrink, maybe you blame yourself, you carry the emotional load. That's why men can stay unhappy basically indefinitely, while women eventually break. She's fed up. That's why 70% of divorces are filed by women. Just saying. His misery proves power. Yours destroys you from the inside. Cheating fits this pattern perfectly. Men who claim they're staying for the family, they often cheat while they're staying, while they're making this sacrifice. But that alone shatters the silly sacrifice myth itself, right? If protecting the family were the priority, he wouldn't be creating betrayal or instability. He would repair his frigging marriage. Or again, leave her. Cheating is not about happiness. It's about maintaining benefit. He keeps the structure and he finds his little relief outside the relationship. Look at how many men talk about this culturally. They wear unhappiness like it's some badge of honor. Marriage is a prison. Happy wife, happy life. I gave up everything. I used to be an event planner. Do you know how many photo shoots I have seen of men joking that they're trapped? You know those ball and chain ones? They hate their wives and they want to escape and she's dragging them down the aisle. It has made me sick for more than 20 years. It turns neglect into a joke and contempt of your wife into just an acceptable part of our culture. And when we normalize men hating their wives, what do we expect? All of this proves that he's unwilling to take responsibility for his life. He's basically a king man baby who gets all the benefits of marriage, but he gets to stay miserable. And staying miserable makes him abusive, not noble. He makes everyone around him miserable. The kids are sitting in the tension, there's silence, mood monitoring. They learn that resentment is normal. And that is the cost of his choice to stay. Well, he doesn't even want to be there. And you keep saying, I kept trying and nothing's changing. Yeah, trying harder benefits him. Leaving disrupts him. One of those he wants, the other he avoids. Wake up to which one that is for you. She Rises Collective is my online community where women get weekly group coaching and education and real-time support where they're sorting through this kind of realization, let's say, and figuring out what this actually means for their lives. This is a place to think clearly without being talked out of what you already see. This is an amazing group of women in a really active online community. So if you need support, you're tired of being isolated, you don't have people to talk to, this is where you want to be. Hit subscribe. This channel is where I expose his tricks. A man staying while acting like he hates you, it's not evidence of love or loyalty or sacrifice. It is evidence that the marriage still works for him, still benefits him. And once you see that, the question is not going to be, why doesn't he leave? It's going to become, why am I the one being punished for his choice to stay? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.